Yo, what's good, gamers? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, PsychSensei here, and welcome to Checkpoint, a show where we push pause, see where we are, and think about where we want to go. Before we start, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Show your friends you care by giving this video a share so we can help the lives of gamers everywhere. If you'd like to learn more about your sensei, join my Discord, or experience the mental diff, visit my website, PsychSensei.com. While you're there, fill out a free consultation form where you and I can sit down, figure out your win con, and start working towards it today. So visit my website, PsychSensei.com. In this checkpoint session, I sit down with Emma, who is a Collegiate League of Legends coach, player, and club president. In this first half of this two-part session, we explore some challenges she experiences as a coach, like creating a healthy culture, increasing her confidence, and exploring what it's like to be a powerful woman in esports. So, come hang out as we check in on Checkpoint. What's good, gamers? What's good? And welcome to the first episode of Checkpoint, where I get to see where we are, we get to take a pause and see how we got here, and then we get to think about where we want to go. And in our first adventure, I really want to thank Emma for coming out here to be a participant in Checkpoint. She is a player, a student, and a coach, and I'll let her introduce herself. Go for it, Emma. Take it away.
Hello, thanks for having me on this stream. So I am Emma, or Lemon Blossom, and I am the president of the League of Legends Club at my university, and I'm also the head coach of our competitive teams, and I personally run our varsity team.
Sick, welcome. So excited to introduce you, Emma. I forgot to welcome everybody to who I am. My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell. You're a psych sensei. I'm an esport and clinical psychologist. And let's just get this thing going, girl. Like, how can I help you? Like, what would you like to work on in this session?
Yeah, I'd really like to focus on becoming a better coach. I know that's very broad, but there aren't a lot of resources for that, which is why I'm so excited to be doing this with you. And I just want to work on strategies to be able to better support my players, both in the game and outside of it, and just make sure that they're getting as much out of competitive as they can and that we're as successful as possible.
Dude, that's a sick place to even start. I'm so glad that we get to start on this foot of you trying to become, the best coach that you can be. So when we think about what's a good coach for you, when you have that picture of mind of what we'd like to grow into, what does that endpoint look like? What does that being that awesome coach look like?
I'd like to be a coach that my players really respect and that is very knowledgeable on the game, on draft, and just like coaching strategies in general. I want us to like place higher in tournaments, and I want to just like really help my players improve.
Okay, I got you. So kind of four areas. The first one was respect, that good relationship with your players. You want to be knowledgeable in draft and in strategy. You want to help them perform and you want to help them improve. Got you. All right, so when you think about where you are and your skills, where do you think you need the most help?
I think something we are struggling with the most currently is kind of just like the mentals of our players and being like happy and invested in the game. At my university, we can't offer scholarships or anything for esports, so a lot of it is just like interest based. We have tryouts and everything, but it's really just like on my players.
So when you say mental, what do you mean? Describe that for them.
I think just like avoiding burnout, better balancing league with everything else they have going on with school and their social lives. And then also, when we don't have scholarships or anything, we sometimes run into a problem of like different levels of investment from players. Some of them are very passionate about it, want to go above and beyond, like meeting every requirement that I set for them. And then others kind of have to like push them a little bit more.
Got you. Okay. So avoid being burnout and at the same time making sure that everyone's on the same page. So I guess what is most pressing? The same pagey or everyone's burning out?
Probably the issue with burnout.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about this burnout thing they've got going on.
Well, I've been coaching for the past year and a half now, and we've gone through quite a few players in that time where they just get like overwhelmed with school or other things in their lives, and then that leads over into their league performance has resulted in like behavioral issues where I had to bench a player, and then after that time not playing, that they decided that they would rather focus on school. Or now currently we have a player that has asked for like a week or two off because his mental hasn't been great.
Hmm.
So kind of just issues with that.
Okay. How often do you get to talk to these players like one on one?
I don't do it very frequently, and that's something I would like to do more of. I want them to be able to talk to me like more comfortably so I
Yeah.
can help them more with whatever they're going through.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay. Nice. And how often does the team get to just talk and meet about like team stuff and not just playing the game and talking about the game?
Not very frequently either. I feel like most of our stuff is in like our scrims or our tournaments or VOD reviews. And then usually people will be online like a little bit early and a little bit later and kind of just like chat with each other then. But I
Mhm.
want to do more dedicated like team bonding activities.
Yeah, yeah, and this is kind of still early in your season, yeah. Like CLOL starts next semester essentially, and right now it's just like outside tournaments and stuff with your team, yeah.
Yeah, we played in the CLOL fall warm up and we made it to the quarterfinals of that before getting eliminated. So now we're really taking a step back and focusing on like our foundation
Ah,
as
sick.
we have like 3 or so months until the real CLOL season.
Ooh, this is even more exciting. This is perfect. Okay, so as you're stepping into getting ready for the season, and you have a feel of your team and where your team is, and some of the things that are coming up already in your team, let's just take a pause and let's brainstorm. What type of team would you like to have this season? Like an idealized version of where you want this team to be, where you want them to go, how they want to interact with each other. What does that look like, feel like for you?
I want a team that works together very cohesively and also just enjoys interacting with everyone on the team.
Nice.
So I really want them to feel like close and enjoy what they're doing.
Okay, works together, and you really want to have this fun, enjoying team culture that everyone's built with camaraderie and kind of like, you didn't say this, but it sounds like we're not just players, we're kind of friends too.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And here's the thing. How much time do you have to invest into this team realistically? Because you're a student, you got things you got to do. I understand you're really passionate. At the same time, you're there to be a student. So how much time do you have to invest in that you can balance creating this team that you want to create?
Yeah, time is something that I'm definitely struggling with and like balancing my own responsibilities because I'm a geology major. So I work in 2 labs currently,
Dang.
as well as making sure that I'm like being a good president and planning fun events for the club. So that takes up a lot of time. And that's been like a bit of an issue for me where I haven't been able to devote as much time to coaching as I would have liked to. And one of the players has been helping me out a lot as like kind of an assistant coach.
Okay. And take a pause. What is that like for you to be pulled in so many different directions?
It's definitely a struggle. I'm very passionate about geology as well as video games and esports, but it feels like a little bit of a disconnect because they don't share that many similarities. Sometimes I feel bad devoting so much time to League and esports when I feel like I should be doing more for school and my career. But recently, I've also had like job opportunities
Whoa.
presented to me or like internship stuff, just like, hey, check this out from the president of our general esports club. And it always feels bad because it's like working in video games and esports would be a dream come true. But I feel like I don't have any skills that would transfer because I'm pursuing a major in geology. But I've I've rearranged what I'm currently doing just recently. I was going to go for an accelerated master's program, but with the time that I had for that, I'm instead doing a dual degree in MIS, which is like Management Information Systems, which will help with geology, but also give me an avenue into esports if I want that. So
Yes, that makes sense. Okay, okay. So let me understand.
wait, that
So
was a lot.
yeah, so let me get it. So make sure that I got you. So it sounds like you feel a little bit bad because you feel this tug of I should be doing geology, career stuff, but I want to do esports and that'd be a dream come true. But as I reflect on it, what skills do I have that transfers from geology to esports? You were thinking about that so much so that when you thought about a dual master's program, instead of going more like rock stuff, you were like, okay, this applied like project management thing is more in line with my esports stream. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds like you're getting pulled in a lot of places. So there's a couple of things that we can talk about, and I guess I'm wondering like how okay are you with doing the best you can, trying to split your attention?
It's been difficult for me. I hold myself to a pretty high standard, and I
Yeah.
want this to be like the best team that we've had and like perform the best. But I also just struggle like devoting the time to that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Got you. Okay. And we haven't talked about this. We were talking about this a little bit offline, but I think this might be kind of related. And so I'll just ask this now. I guess I'm wondering like how does this time commitment or how much time you have to spend on certain things affect your confidence levels in these areas?
it definitely hurts my confidence because I want to be reliable for my players. But there are times where I'll be on campus from like 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. and I'll need to like message the player that's been helping me. I'll be like, hey, can you find a scrim for tonight? And then I'll be getting home at like 6:30 and have to get online for our scrim at 7. And then I don't really have anything like prepped in terms of draft or like what we're going for with our scrim. So I feel like our practice could be more effective if I did have that.
Got you. Got you. Okay, I'm curious. Yeah, you haven't said this yet, but I'm curious. Like, how often do you find yourself beating yourself up for things that you aren't able to do because you just don't have the time for it?
Very frequently.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. All right. Okay. So we got like some things going on here. All right. So the thing that we're at right now is that you want to create this welcoming environment where everyone's friendly, gets along, provide them this value as being their coach. It sounds like you have some systems in place. However, some limiting factors that we're really pushing into is time and spreading yourself thin. Then the other hurdles that kind of get in the way of you being that coach that you really want to be.
With confidence as well, I think that really hurts how effectively I communicate with my players.
Hey, let's talk.
So I feel like I kind of second guess my opinions or the feedback that I would like to give them. So I'd like to provide a little bit of background on the
Yeah.
team. The team had the same players since the start of the club
Mhm.
for like 3 years or so. And they were all like high diamond to grandmaster, and they had a coach who started the club. He was very commanding. The players respected him a lot, and he kept up with the meta constantly. Is just very knowledgeable and innovative. And then he trained me as his successor when he was graduating, and that has been a struggle with my confidence because I feel like I have a very different approach to coaching. I'm a lot less harsh and more supportive, I guess.
Mhm.
And it was also difficult because I was still, like, growing a lot as a
Yeah.
player. So, it's like all these players on the team that I'm suddenly trying to coach when they're much higher ranked than me,
Mhm. Okay.
and they've all been playing together for years now, but
Mm.
nearly all of them graduated in the spring. So this fall, we only have 2 remaining players and then 3 that are brand new to competitive. And that has helped me feel a little bit better about my feedback because I can actually like give guidance that they haven't really had before. But they're all flat, so that's been a bit of a struggle, I guess, when 2 of our players are, like, both masters, and then we have 3 that are brand new, never played competitive before in platinum rank.
Got you. Okay. Couple questions. How is the platinum players or the two remaining players from last year's team? Do they take a more captain role? Are they just here to cruise? Are they just having fun? Are they bossing people around? Like, what is their sentiment on the team?
They're our main shot callers, especially our jungler. He's
Okay.
been on the team since the very start of it, and he's also the one that has been helping me with
Oh,
coaching more,
great. Okay.
and he's my roommate, so
Oh, even better.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
And then our other one came from our academy team last year.
Okay.
So he's a little bit newer, but still has like a lot of competitive experience
Yeah.
with that, and they do pretty much, like, lead all of our plays and engages.
What's the other player? What positions do they play?
Well, the original one played support, but then moved to jungle whenever we moved up the academy support because our previous jungle left. So
Gotcha.
jungle and support, but they both have a lot of support
That's
experience.
not a bad core, not a bad core of returnees, and it sounds like that they are here to support you and they're here to help you instead of like, oh, pff, who's this girl? Who's this chick? She doesn't know anything. That's really cool. Off the rift and in the rift, those are two very important positions to have. Back pocket. Okay, cool. Tell me about these rookies. Where are they? Where are they
Yeah,
like?
one of them, our top laner, played on academy for the past 2 years. So this is his third year,
Hmm?
and he's now on the varsity team.
Okay.
And then our ADC just joined the club. He's a sophomore. And then our mid laner also joined the club and is a sophomore, but he swapped from support to mid because we already had such a high ranked support.
Oh, your team is just full of supporters, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a unique team right there. That's cool. That's cool.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, it really sounds like you got some exciting things going on. And at the same time, it sounds like you have a brand new team to play with. And it's really funny because it sounds like at first you're like, well, I'm not so confident. I'm a little scared because this coach was this way. But then the team just blew up and now we have kind of a new team. And I'm unsure if my style is okay. And I'm wondering what makes you think your style is not okay?
It's less of a concern for me now with
Yeah.
this newer team because they don't have like a set way that they were used to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I can have more agency and coach things how I think would be most
Yeah.
effective.
I feel like there's a
But
butt coming.
that
There it is.
yeah, that has been just so difficult because I don't have that time that I would like to devote to a brand new team like this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Well, let's try to work in a different kind of frame with the time that you do spend with the team. How there are you in mind, body, and spirit? How present are you? Are you doing your best? I guess those are the questions to think about.
I'm not as present as I would like to be because it is often like when I've just gotten home after a long day at school and like doing my research and everything. So a lot of, I guess, their leadership also comes from my roommate, one that's helping with coaching. And I felt like a little bit unsure of that because since he's also a player on the team, I didn't want there to be a weird power dynamic with that. But it's been working out and they all seem to get along really well. So it's been helpful to have that, but I still feel like things are a little bit rushed. Like going into the fall warm up, it felt like it's just kind of slapping a band-aid on things and getting us to a point where we could play in a tournament, which is now why we're switching to focusing on like foundations now that we're eliminated. So what we've been doing in VOD reviews is like really breaking down
Ah,
the first 15 minutes, going like 15 seconds at a time of just like,
okay.
here's everything about lane management and wave states. So I'm excited to move forward with that.
Nice. So, time for you. Let's talk about it. So, time. Is it just planning time, finding time, not having enough time? What is your relationship with time?
Not having enough time, and then when I do have a block of time, I'm very like exhausted from everything before that.
Got you. Okay. So, as we talk about time and moving blocks, tell me about your sleep. How much sleep are you getting?
Not as much as I should. I get maybe like 6 hours or so because I often go like nonstop from the morning until night. Like with scrims, sometimes we finish around 10 and then it's like, oh, now I have to think about food and my homework. So
Oh no! Okay, I see where this is going. Before we move on, how do you feel about six? Give me a scale, 1 to 10, one being like terrible, death, and 10 being like awesome, amazing. I love six. Where are we with it?
could you clarify it a
Yeah,
little bit?
sure.
So
So like a different way to think of this question is how sustainable is six?
not very.
Okay. Six is like we have a lot of things to do and we have to get through this week kind of six, not this month kind of six, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So ideally, how many hours would you like?
Ideally, I want to go to sleep around like 11 o'clock and then wake up around like 7 because I feel like that would give me more time to have a bit more of like a relaxed morning instead of racing out of the house. I just feel better with that, but it hasn't been possible with my schedule.
Or is it meow?
The issue is primarily with like how long I have to spend on campus, the extracurricular things I'm involved in, and then still having homework once I do get home.
Nice. Or unnice. So it's around what, 1 to 7? 12 to 6?
Yeah, probably closer to like 1 to 7.
Okay. 1 to 7. All right. Ideally, it'd be 7 to 11. I feel you. Okay. Okay. All right. Talking about time. And if we can't move it around, what are some other things that may be affecting confidence besides time and spending time with players that we can maybe touch? Right now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the lay of the land to see how many things we could touch, push or pull, or the things are in place that are helping and hindering, or seeing what's going on and why you're doing it. So I'm just getting a lay of the land. And once we have more lay of the land, I'm like, okay, we can touch sleep, we can't touch sleep. We can touch this, we can't touch this. Then once we figure it out, then it'll be a little more clear. So still exploring. So for you, what are some other things that affecting your confidence or your interactions with your players?
Yeah, I think a lot of it still stems from coaching the previous team, where it's
Okay,
like I
talk about
was
it.
gold at the time. I'm plat 2 now, so I do feel like I have a bit more credibility. I was like gold and they were all high diamond. It's like I was still new to competitive as well. It's like I'm just saying things that I don't want to be wrong about. And again, with time now, it's still difficult because I don't have as much time to devote to like game knowledge and watching pro and like understanding the meta as I would like to.
Hmm?
So I don't know if my opinions or the things I'm saying are like outdated.
I see. Okay, interesting. And when you talk with the team and express your ideas, what are the feedbacks or the conversations that you have from it?
They've all been positive. I know with players on the previous team, we were all very close. Like it was
Hmm.
definitely like a friend group as well as
Like,
just like a team. So I think they talked more openly and gave more feedback to me, in which a lot of it was all like, you know what you're talking about, you just need to be more confident.
oh,
And
sorry, sorry.
now
Can you
with
say
the
that one
team,
more time? The slower this time, so I can actually hear what you just said. One more time.
mhm.
Okay, I see.
Uh, I've had players, like, on that team say that I know what I'm talking about, I just need to be more confident with it.
Okay.
So, I've I've had, like, less direct feedback to me with this team because they're all new, I think,
Oh,
but
I guess what's holding you back from getting it?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they feel, like, fully comfortable yet. And I also feel like they don't always feel qualified to speak on it because they don't have like the competitive experience. I think it's where I was in the past. It's like I'm brand new to this. I'm lower ranked. I don't know if my opinions are correct or if they're going to sound silly and make the others lose respect for me.
Oh, interesting spot to be in. Exactly. When you're trying to explain the situation, it sounds like y'all are trying to form this new team and this new system, and you guys aren't sure of how this is supposed to go or how we're supposed to interact. And I think it's really cool because you actually have the opportunity to set this culture. Hey guys, team, listen, we're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna say things that are stupid. At the same time, I need to know what you're thinking because I can't read minds. And I will do my best to tell you what I'm thinking and why I'm thinking it. I fully expect you to tell me what you're thinking and why this thing that I'm thinking may be correct or not. Because it seems like, at least from what I've learned in League of Legends, especially Collegiate League of Legends, is that a lot of strats can work. A lot of comps can work. It's just the comp that works together, or we know how it works and operates and we can execute it. That's the one that wins. So it's really exciting because the things that you may be feeling of, oh, I don't know if I can say this, I don't want to look stupid. It sounds like they might be experiencing the same thing. And how cool would that be if it's like, all right, let's get on the same page, friends. I have a thing we all might be feeling this. How true is that? Let's take some notes here. Oh, everyone, give me some fingers. We're all kind of the same number out of 10. Okay, we're all about 5s or 7s. We're all unsure. Cool, awesome. Crafting this conversation, how would you like to hold it? Because it seems like this is something that we need to talk about as a team, how we're going to interact with each other, and my position as a coach and what I have to offer you. And let's make it clear that, hey, I'm here, I'm with you, At the same time, friends, let's be real, we're all students. I'm almost in my master's program. I'm like, I got stuff to do, man. I want to be here as much as I can. This is what I can present to you. This is what I can do for you. What do you think about that? And see their reaction. I don't know. I'm just thinking of ways that we all can get on the same page. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a very good way of approaching it. I often ask for their opinions. We always get on a bit before our scrims to
Oh.
talk about draft, and usually it's just me talking about like my thoughts, the direction I would like to go with it. And when I ask for their feedback, I pretty much just get hit with like, yeah, that sounds good, or we can do whatever.
Oh my
So
God. Have you gotten this one? What can you play? I can play everything. No.
yes, all
Oh
the
my
time.
God. Okay,
Mhm.
play Yumi. What? You said you could play anything, bro. Play Yumi top.
Yeah.
It doesn't what?
I do get that where I'm like, "What do you want?" And they're like, "I'm fine with whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, here are your 2 options. This is why I would like these, why I think they fulfill the role that we need in our comp." And then they'll be like, "I don't know if I really like either of those." It's like, "Okay, then what do you want?" They're like, "I don't know." Like, I don't know
Yes.
how to go from there.
Yes, exactly. Or, okay, we need something, we need like a main cheer. We need like something like an Ori. Okay, pick me Tryndamere. That's not exactly what I was thinking with this team comp, and you're picking like last, and now what? Okay, got you. Okay, cool. So I
Yeah.
think that's really cool. Great pickup. And my suggestion would be have this meeting if you have time, either before practice or something where it's kind of like, hey, this is what I've noticed. This is what I would like, because if we keep doing it this way, this is what I'm afraid of. Look, guys, there's a system I want to do draft with. I want to talk about the idea behind this team comp. At least I want to talk about what the enemy team might want to do from our, VOD review sessions from them, or our scouting program with like looking at their stuff. And from here, this is what I want to draft. What do you guys think? Okay, cool. And then from when we're actually picking, I want to give you options. You either have to pick one of these options, or you got to tell me if you're going to call an audible what you want and how that's going to change the whole conceptualization of this draft. Because if not, it's going to go bad because we all know what we're thinking. So this is my plan, and I'm going to be working on it this week for this system. What do you guys think? Because it seems like it comes down to you putting these in place and just being very overt with it. Because the thing that you may not have said, but it kind of relates back to confidence, is trust. But I'm trying to think of ways to help build trust. And if you have trust in your teammates or a system, then you'd be more apt to be confident that it's going to go well.
I think something with what you said that would be really helpful to us is making this like its own activity when we
Yeah.
have a lot more time to kind of just like push through it. It's like you say you don't know, but like
Yes.
just like expand on that more instead of trying to do it
Yeah.
with like a limited amount of time.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think making that like its own separate activity where we can really take all the time we need would be helpful. Because something I also run into is like in draft itself, where I'll be talking the whole time, like while we're picking, I'll be like, okay, here are my thoughts, like blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm looking at. This is why. This is what I want to accomplish. And they'll have like no feedback until we get to like 3 seconds. And they're like, what about this champion? Like, we're gonna go with what I said, because if you told me it earlier and I could think about it, I could implement it. But because I don't have that time to think about it, I like don't feel comfortable picking it. And then it kind of leads to them feeling like a little bit bitter, like maybe I could have done better that game if I had gotten what I wanted. And they'll be like, we should have done this. Like, okay, then say it when I ask like the 5 times for your thoughts.
Yes. Unfortunately, it'll always be your fault, because I feel like that's the player, like the go-to card. Well, I wanted to play Israel and they want me to play this and we lost because they made me pick Sivir. I feel like, unfortunately, it'll always be the coach's fault. So to maybe mediate that, it's kind of like, okay, I see what you're saying. That's good, because that means you're thinking, and I like that when you think. However, I need you to think faster, because that pick is going to change the direction of the game this way. And I need you to tell us if we're going to do that next time. So for this game, we're going to do this. And next time, I really want you to focus on being more interactive in the draft so I can know what you're thinking. But we'll validate. I really like that you're thinking about the draft. That's good. Continue to do that. We just got to do it quicker so I understand and we can pivot as a team. So I'm afraid of, if we pick this, the 4 other people that don't know how to play with this pick, it's going to get kind of hard. Plus, we already picked this, this, and this. That doesn't go with this too. Unlucky.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to approach it. What we have currently is we call it like the trust card, where you can
Ooh,
call for
yeah.
something and you say like, "I'm using my trust card," and then we pick it for you. But it is on you to like make sure that you
Yeah.
communicate what you need to be successful on
Hmm.
it. And if it doesn't go well, then you lose your trust card. But if
Yeah.
it does, then you get it back.
Ooh, I
Um,
like that. And also, I really do like that trust card. And one thing that I would add, if they do throw down that trust card, it's like, okay, you have to tell us how to play this game. You have to tell us how this game is going to change and or what you need to make this champion, this strategy successful because you are now full trust. Like, we got you and we trust you and we like this. You have to tell us how it goes, though. I think that'd be awesome because not only are you making them say, okay, trust me, and without like blind trust me, I got this, give me, I don't know, Sivir, whatever champion, give me this, trust me. But no, you don't have to do blindly. Here's why you're gonna trust me. I'm gonna pick Malphite here, and when they jump in, we just kill all of them. Oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. I now have something to put my feet on versus, all right, Jason, it's all you, man. Like, it's Jason's game. But actually, okay, now I know how Jason's thinking. Going back to your point of making that meeting by itself to identify the things of I don't know, another thing that you can bring up is like, hey, when you say I don't know, what does that mean? I don't knows can mean a lot of things. For some people, I don't know is I don't know, I don't want to talk about it. Some people is I don't know, so I don't have to like be in this conversation. Or some people are like, I actually don't know. So like when you say I don't know, like what do you mean? So we better know what to do. Or I don't know.
yeah.
I think that's really interesting too when you're saying they're a higher level than me, so I feel weird telling them what I think as their coach. Tell me about it.
I guess I just don't want to like, there are definitely still areas that I need to work on in my own gameplay
Okay.
and my own, like, game knowledge. So I'm nervous about saying something that would be, like, extremely obvious to a different player already. But I've gotten better about, like, asking my players instead of, like, being afraid to be wrong. Because now with my jungler especially and how helpful he is, I'll ask him more about, like, "Okay, what are they looking to accomplish?"
Ooh, good
Like, if I
question.
don't know the answer, I'm less afraid to show that I don't know and to actually ask about it.
Whoa, wait, hold on. A coach that's actually willing to see what they said is truthful or helpful or not. Wow, that's good. Why would that be a bad thing?
I guess I just put a lot of pressure on myself to already know that. It's like I don't play any jungle whatsoever, but I still feel like I should be able to look at their jungler and be like, okay, this is where they're going to try to be at this time. So this lane needs to like be careful. I feel like I should be able to say that, but I realize that I don't. So now I ask my jungler that. I'll be like, okay, where do we need to watch?
Yeah, okay. At the same time, are there other things that you know when you're watching, like, oh, this is correct or incorrect, or they're going to do this after this, or they should have done this, or they made a mistake, or this was really identify those moments.
Yeah, especially with more support and mid lane plays, because I have experience on those roles. But when we get to top lane, I'll have a feeling where I'm like, I feel like it should have gone this way, or we should have been able to do this. But I don't know if my top lane knowledge is good enough, like if that was possible.
Okay.
I guess, especially with like top lane wave management. I'll have the idea of like, could our top laner have roamed here or done this? And I'm like, oh, but is that possible with his lane state?
Okay. So in this little thought experiment, Emma, it seems like you're able to identify the things that you don't know, the things that you still need to have more information on. It sounds like you are able to identify the things that you know and what you have experience in and confident in those things. And at the same time, it sounds like you have this unrealistic, I should have known something I didn't know. How?
Um, well, it is something that I'm still like actively working on. Identifying it has been helpful because then I can try to improve, but it's still like a struggle, a
Yeah.
work in progress.
Yeah, of course, of course. So for you, what is the biggest thing? Is it the beating self up? Is it the just scared of what I just said or scared of actually speaking? Like, what is the hardest thing for
I think it's not wanting to say something that's just incorrect
you about that? Yeah.
because with the previous team, I didn't want to be incorrect and have them lose respect for me. And now with the new team, because I'm more experienced in there, I don't want to say something incorrect and like mislead them.
Okay. All right. Let's play a scenario. You are in round review. You are explaining a play or what you thought should have happened, and it doesn't go as well. Right? They say, "Okay, we see what you're saying, Emma, but that's not exactly correct, or would have been correct if we had X, Y, and Z. However, in this situation, we don't have that, so it's not correct." What would you do? Say?
I'd probably say, like, okay, thanks for letting me know. Let's backtrack a little bit and see how we could have gotten those things to make that successful. Because something that we do that I feel like they don't really think about prior to competitive is like they look solely at the fight and it's like, oh, the fight went wrong because I positioned here. And it's
Right.
like, actually, let's go back like a
You six
minute and a
minute, yeah.
half. Yeah, and let's look at everything that led up to this because
Absolutely.
oftentimes, like, that moment is difficult to correct, but we can go back and fix things so we aren't even in that spot in the first place.
Absolutely. 100%. Great coaching. Okay. So, great response. Now let's check another area. Internally, what would that be like if someone's like, I'm not sure if that's correct, Emma. How is it internally for you?
I'm still working on, like, taking criticism better.
Yeah.
I think with that, I'd be fine. I'd get, like, a little bit self-conscious
Okay.
or maybe that they're, like, thinking poorly, like, "Oh my god, she should have known that." So
Okay. Okay. Now, take me to the worst case scenario. This is like DEFCON 5. Oh my God, it's happening. No, 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 no. Like, what is your biggest fear when this happens?
I guess that they would just, like, completely ridicule me for it, that would be, like, worst case, but I don't think that's a realistic
Be the
thing
worst
with my
case scenario
players.
troll. Like, be worst case scenario player troll you can think of and embody them and give me their response.
I'm not sure, I'm not used to, like, thinking in a toxic way, but
You have permission. You have my permission this one time only.
I can't really think of too much except maybe, like, with my gender, I feel like that has
Okay,
been the source of a lot of my confidence issues
okay.
because I played video games, like, for a super long time. I started playing League in 2011, and I feel like being a woman in video games, I'm not just allowed to make mistakes or have a bad game, whereas, like, a man could, but if I do, then it's like, that's because women aren't good at video games.
Okay, now we're taking a slightly different direction. All right, tell me more about this. So it sounds like you have this either subconscious or conscious weight of your gender being a coach, being a player, and in the sense it's having to be better than or better all the time.
Yeah, it's
Damn.
created a lot of pressure where I feel like I constantly have to be proving myself because I'm always fighting for that respect that is naturally given to others.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, tell me what that's like as a coach and a player.
It's very difficult. I don't get taken seriously as much. And then in video games, like all the time, there have been so many situations where it's like, oh, like girls can't get high ranked, or if they do, they were just boosted and all this stuff. And then with my friends in high school, we played a lot of Overwatch, and I was one of a couple of people in our group that hit diamond. Yet, whenever they were talking about like the best supports, they always put our friends that were like silver and gold over me, and I was always picked last for everything despite being like one of the highest ranks in the group. And it was like, "Oh, well, you just duoed with our other friend." So,
Oh. Hmm. As you're talking, something that really like came to my mind is like, how shitty is it that through these experiences, either internalized or like even started doubting yourself of, am I actually good or do I actually have these abilities and skills? And oh my God, if I do have these skills and I'm actually am good, will people listen to me? Or it's almost like as if you're like questioning yourself and your abilities just through this experience or because you're a strong woman in gaming. That's so rough, man.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I do feel like my achievements will be minimized by others and like myself, I guess, I've been dealing with my roommate a bit, which is just enjoyable. I always feel weird about that. I'm like, people aren't going to respect me. I need to do this all solo queue. And then my roommate is like, that's silly. Like, I don't play solo queue. I deal with people exclusively. So I guess I just feel like I have to do significantly better than anyone else to be even regarded at like the same level.
All right, let's ask a slightly different question. Think about this thought or possible thoughts that people might have of you or perceive you. Does this push you forward or hold you?
I think it probably holds me back because it makes me a lot more stressed when I play, and I'm,
Mm.
like, worried about making mistakes rather than just, like, focusing, I guess.
If you were really, really good, do you allow yourself to see it?
I don't think so, because I still struggle with that a bit now. I'm like, "Oh, I'm only plat 2, like, I'm not that great." But that is, like, percentage-wise high rank, and my friends are like, "Wow, you're really high ranked." But I guess I don't feel that way as much. I feel like the goal is, like, always moving, and I never allow myself to really celebrate it. It's like, I wanted to hit gold for so long, and I did, and then I hit plat, and I'm like, "I gotta hit diamond." So,
Are you typically a high achiever?
yeah.
And I'm guessing that we can generalize this not pausing to recognize or acknowledge your accomplishments or your strengths as a thing that you just do, not just in.
Yeah.
How come? Why do you stop yourself from acknowledging those, seeing how great you are?
There was always, like, a lot of pressure put on me by my parents. I'm currently, like, in therapy now, so this is something that I'm working on a
Hmm.
lot, but just, like, a lot of pressure with all of that in academics, in sports, in everything. It's, like, never felt like it's really good enough, and even if I did well, it's like I could have been doing more.
Yeah, whoa, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. So I'm wondering, you're telling me this. It seems like this perspective of, pushing forward or maybe even in your head, reframing it of, I did good, I could always do better. It seems like you're doing this for a reason. It sounds like you may understand those reasons, you may not. And it sounds like at the same time that this habit or this behavior that you've been doing, it's helped you in some way. Maybe it's pushed you to achieve more or self-analyze to do better. And I'm just wondering, at this point in your life, has it become more of a hindrance than a helper?
I think so, and that's why I've been, like, trying to work on it so much because I do place, like, unrealistic expectations on myself
Yes.
that just stress me out and make me feel so exhausted, so I'm not, like, performing my best when I could otherwise.
Okay. Now let's ask a kind of slightly different question to maybe think about how you could actually start interacting with yourself in a different way. What would it be like if Emma was actually Emma's friend?
It would be very nice,
I bet. Emma sounds dope.
so yeah. So, I mean, like, even with my research, I'm like, oh, I'm not spending enough time in the lab compared to the others. But then I need to, like, remind myself that I'm comparing myself to grad students. Like, this is their job. They have fewer classes. They get paid for this. I'm the only undergrad in the lab.
Slave? Yes.
Um, yeah. It's been helping me to look at it more objectively. It's like I got started in research my freshman year. I switched labs just this semester, but I'm in a planetary geology lab. I'm like getting my own research project. So, objectively, like I'm accomplishing a lot and I'm trying to be better about letting myself like recognize my achievements.
Yes. And dude, honestly, that is going to be your first piece of homework. And the most awesome thing is that it's freaking Thanksgiving month where we get to be thankful and highlight the things that are great in our lives. And I think even you becoming a better coach, a better player, a better friend, whatever it is, better student, it's first acknowledging how dope Emma is. Not just saying, oh, I'm doing these things, but it's like, I'm doing these things, I'm coaching these things, I've come this far. Because the thing that I've noticed about you is that you're also able to self analyze and say, I need support here. Not in like a self flamey way, which is good, but like, I know that I'm not strong here. I need support. I need others to help me. At the same time, I wonder what it would be like if you actually were to allow yourself to see the other side of, wow, I'm actually strong here. I know what I'm talking about. Because even when I asked you, what would you do if this happened? You said, I would say, oh, that's a good point. And we would talk about it and I'd go this way. And there was no like, I would feel terrible or bad, or it was just like, yeah, it would feel kind of bad. But then I even asked you, what's worst case scenario? And you're like, I can't even think about what that would look like. I don't know. What
Yeah.
do you think?
I'm not like super sure about that, but what we've just been like talking about recently has really made me realize that I've been like kind of unfair to myself because
Super.
I'm constantly like moving the bar and like the finish line. So I never finally like cross it, I
Yeah.
guess. And I think that's something that could help me a lot with just like all areas of my life currently. If I just like allowed myself to cross that finish line and then set a new goal.
Yeah. Let's put some party time on that schedule. If I finish this thing, I was actually good this time. And we did this thing and it was great. And it was awesome. Woohoo. I vibe with you. I literally am the same way. And oh my gosh, this is my system that I've been doing for myself. It's really rudimentary, but it's literally in front of me because this is something I'm doing too. So
Is it your thing with like your pennies?
my
there,
pennies,
or-
yes.
yeah.
My pennies.
I've been seeing it on your Pomodoro
Yes.
timers. Yes.
I'm just like you, where I set really lofty, unrealistic goals. I come down super hard on myself when I don't do things that I shoulda, coulda, would have done. And I don't stop to reward myself or enjoy my accomplishments. So I literally made these pennies and I took myself out for boba and I was like, this is my reward. And I literally sat down and was like, it's my reward. I get to enjoy it. Versus like, oh, this is just boba. I was like, no, I worked for this. So those smaller things too might help. And I'm guessing even too, like, what would it even be like for you to sit down after practice and be like, I taught some stuff today. They were impressed today. Like, what would
I
that be
think
like?
that'd be very helpful. So I feel like currently I just focus on maybe what I didn't get to teach. It's like, yeah,
Ooh.
we accomplished this, but I would have liked to work more on this or get more out of this area.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But see, I'm wondering if like instead of analyzing and said I wanted to do this and I'm going to do this instead, how could it work in just the stop and the pause of this is what I want to accomplish and this is what I was actually able to accomplish. I did good. Just know like I want to do this better, but like I did this good. Just that first pause of did this good.
I think an example recently with coaching is when we spent so much time looking at like wave management and lane phase. And then in our very next scrim, I saw my players already implementing that. I was like,
Sick.
to our top laner, I was like, you don't need to be perma pushing. It's like you can use your shield and hold this wave here for the next one, and then you get a freeze. And then I saw him doing that in like our very next scrim, and it worked out really well. So I think just like feeling good about that, like, yeah, I
Yeah.
taught them something and it's already showing improvement.
Hell yeah. And you wouldn't be the first coach that I've worked with to say that, hey, I'm not high level. These people are challengers. I'm only like gold. What I have to offer them. And I asked them, like, what are you doing outside to get information? What type of value are you bringing them? Just then, I'm better than you in this game. And technically, you'd only be better than them in the game at your position, too. So, I mean, sure, that is one way to bring value is to be a quote high rank, but another way to bring value is to study. I think another example would be Kelsey Mosher. She's not high ranking at all, but she is super smart, so smart at the game and able to teach and coach and is respected in that way. So I think oftentimes we get lost in the rank game versus the I can actually be a coach and provide coaching skills and see how you play and talk with you, get you where you need to go instead of just playing and being good that way. I think after this discussion and talking about how you think about the game, how you see your players, like that's a coach, not just telling them how to play.
Mhm. Yeah, something that the previous coach said to me that has like helped me a lot was you don't always need to know the answer, you just need to ask the question. So I like try to keep that in mind a lot.
Ah, absolutely. I think too, as long as you keep in mind is that if you're creating the team that you want, and they're being friends, they're getting results, you're improving them, you're providing with support. If that's the team that you wanted to have and you're creating that, who's to say you're doing it wrong? And collegiate is such a different beast than professional, different than amateur. I think it's fun to see what the collegiate space has to offer and strategy wise and what works for each team in school because you're not limited by the best people in the game, which are limited by is, I don't know, geographic location if they want to go to your school. Like, that's what you're working with. And money if you're, rich. But other than that, like, you're playing with the pool that's in your school. So, dude, it sounds like you have a lot of strengths as a coach, and it's just getting out of your own way to allow yourself to see them. And then I think once you're able to acknowledge the things you're really great at, girl, I think it's leaning in hard and being that coach that you want to be. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, this discussion has also kind of made me think about like the unrealistic expectations I set for myself, but how I might also be applying those to my players instead of like taking the time to maybe stop and be like, hey, we talked about this in VOD review. You guys implemented here. That's great. Like, that's already a lot of improvement. And I do tell them that, but I feel like after that, I go into like, all right, now what can we do next? What can we do more? Instead of like taking adequate time to celebrate and feel good about it. So I think that could help like the mental of my players as well.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it also improved that relationship with them, you, of like, hey, my coach is not telling me all the poopy things I'm doing, but they actually told me that I'm improving. What? They actually noticed that I'm managing a wave, or I'm managing a wave better now? Oh, cool, we did that. I always was doing that, right, coach? No, you weren't. You weren't at all. But you're doing great now. Like, you're actually seeing the wave, and I see that improvement, and you're doing that every game now, or 2 games in a row, or every other game. That's good. I guess we're coming full circle, and I was wondering, like, even if you could be that authoritative coach, would you want that type of coach?
I don't think so. I like to be much more supportive. And this came up just recently with my mid laner asking for some time off. Like, we don't have an easy replacement. And this is a time commitment that, like, he signed up to and agreed to. So, I had the option of, like, being firmer about that or more supportive of, like, okay, like, this is what's best for you. How can I help? And that is the route that I prefer to take.
Yeah. So I think it's funny because you're like, oh, that's the last coach they had, and this is my coaching style. And it's like, I don't even think you'd like being that person. And I really feel like your system of how you want to interact with your players and how you want to be a coach that's completely fine. The question is then, are you okay with that? Of course, I think the answer is yes. This is how can we grow into it and be more comfortable in it? And I guess I'm more curious about the gender and esports and feeling like you have to do more. Like, how could we feel less of that? Or like, what do you think it would take to be okay with knowing what you know and not feeling like you need to be anyone else than just you, or that you have to represent women all the time or what have you? That seems like a huge burden, man.
Yeah, it is. And I feel less of that with my players. I think they do genuinely respect me. But there have been times, like in our tournament recently, some guy from a different team joined our call and was just like chatting with the players between games. We had like a bye or whatever, which already like not great. Then he only referred to me as e-girl. He just was like e-girl, 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 which I don't respond to because I find that like really derogatory. He's just like being so weird and like drawing so much attention to my gender. It's like, please just treat me like you were any of my other players. And then I've also had like other coaches when we set up scrims, they'll keep DMing me, like trying to flirt. It's like, just treat me like any other coach. So it's just like always unpleasant to deal with. And it makes me feel like I don't receive the same amount of respect. Like I'm not taken seriously.
I feel gross and upset at the same
Yeah.
time. First of all, how dare that person come in and refer to you as e-girl? Who the fuck are you? And why do you think that you can say that? And what I hate is that if you probably address them, be like, oh, I'm just joking, I'm just joking. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you can say that as a joke. At the same time, I demand respect. I'm a freaking coach here, man. Like, I run this team. So that is very upsetting to me. I guess I'm curious, what would you have wanted to do in these situations? That after hitting on is kind of weird too, but like, what would you want to do or say if you felt like you had permission to do it or you just could? You know, what would you want to do? What would that id want to do for you? That
I already like speak out against it in the moment. It's like, hey, like stop calling me that. I have
yeah,
a name.
get it.
Treat
Yes,
it's like, yeah, and like I'm the coach. It's like, please treat me professionally.
yes.
So
Okay,
it's
great.
still just like
Yeah.
very frustrating.
Dude, I'm so happy that you're able to actually step up and say like, I didn't like that. What was the response?
This guy, he's like, "Oh, sorry." He's like, "Well, sometimes people call me gay." As if like, huh?
First of all, it's not about you.
Yeah, I don't know. His response is just crazy to me. And then the call is just like silent and
Yeah,
he left.
exactly. Please
But
leave the call. You're gone. You're done.
yeah,
You're done. Leave the call. Do
I
that.
wish there were routes to take like more action against it. But the problem is so much of it is kind of seen as like gamer culture or just joking. Like it's very common. So there isn't really any punishment for it because it's seen as so casual.
It's so okay. Like, what is crazy about this story to me is that it wasn't just through text. It was literally in a voice call with other people. Like, that is just amazing to me. That either means that A, that person just doesn't understand and or has gone through their life thinking that this was okay, which is crazy to me. And then to say, well, it's not about you, it's about me. This happens to me. It's like, whoa, what? Crazy. And I hate that it's just chalked up to gamer culture. Like, since when can gamer, like, it's just okay to be a pass and be the, like, that's not okay. I'm glad that you addressed it. Oh, I don't think that should have been slid underneath like the rug. That's not good. I'm glad that you're actually able to say like that's not cool. And I'm guessing like in that other situation when people are trying to like other stuff to you after scrims or from a scrim message, like what is that like for you and how do you deal with those situations?
I just like ignore it or don't respond. But this also ties into being like the president of the club. I enforce the rules more than previous presidents have because I like this is our public university Discord, so I think we should hold it to a higher standard. It's not your personal one where you can say whatever you want. And that kind of has gained me like a negative reputation, and it's also difficult because the sexism is so normalized, so they'll post things where it's like, "How strict of a punishment can I give for that?" Someone posted something of, like, women being inferior, like, that's easy, that's a punishment, like a strike. But then there's stuff where someone posted recently, like, a GIF,
Oh my
the
god.
Discord volume slider, and sliding it to 0, and it says, "Woman is talking." And it's just stuff like that all the time, or someone said, like, any 19th Amendment repealer enthusiasts. So, I just have to, like, deal with this constantly, and it feels very targeted because I'm, like, one of maybe 3 women in the club. So,
Oh my god.
yeah, it just puts me in a difficult situation because they are like, "Oh, it's just a joke," and it's like, this is, like, normal. Why are you taking it so seriously? Like, why are you getting so offended by it?"
Oh my god. It's so frustrating. So frustrating to teach people empathy or like to actually think about these things at the same time. How frustrating it must be for you where you're like, I'm doing this to protect you and then the
Yeah.
university because I hate to tell you this, but if someone comes in here and they identify you, you're not going to school anymore. And
Mhm.
so I'm trying to help you and you think I'm being a bitch, which makes me more upset because I'm thinking about you and you're pooping on me. What?
Yeah.
And that weighs on you though,
Mhm.
because of the
It
perception that they have of you or the things that they're thinking about you. Like, what is the most bothersome thing?
Probably the perception that they have of me because I try to be as, like, helpful and inclusive to everyone. New people join the server, I'll try to invite them to stuff or, like, welcome them and just make them feel, like, very included and like they have a spot in the club. But I'm worried that when I'm not there, then these people kinda, like, say bad stuff about them and about me, change their opinion of me, so
Hmm. Here's something that we could talk about. How could we? Because it seems like you are giving or people that are not worth your time, people that are not adding value, people who you are thinking of want the best for. It seems like they're not appreciating it because you're going out of your way to do these things. At the same time, these things bother you. It seems to me that you still care about them. care what they say. So how could we help you become aware about these stupid hate?
I mean, I think the best I can do is just keep trying to create a positive experience for everyone in the club. People are going to say what they're going to say, and hopefully I can just try to like kind of fight back against that through my actions. Just like show that, hey, that's not how I am.
Yeah, and it seems like in so many of your roles, being a coach, being a president, it seems like you're in this place of like, I'm sorry, this is the game we're playing. I am the adult here. I am the person in charge. And you, my friend, are either a child or a player, or you're acting like a baby. So I need to treat you as such because here, this is how we play. We do these things, we don't do these things, and that's how we play in here. You don't want to play here. There's other places for you to play in. Oh, you're such a bitch. Sorry. You can cry, you can moan. This is how it is. I don't know what to tell you. You're acting this way, and because you're acting this way, I've told you what's going to happen. See the rules. And you are forewarned, and if you are an adult and you're going to make adult decisions, then you also get adult consequences, and I wish I could help you, but you just did it yourself. What can I tell you? Like, I don't know what else I can do for you. How can I help you? At the same time, I would hate for you to take on those people's negativity when it has nothing to do.
Mhm.
And pause. Oh, I know I'm leaving you on a cliffhanger, but I promise it's all by design. So please join me for part 2 of Emma's checkpoint session next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you'll never get those feelings of FOMO, as you'll always know when the next checkpoint drops. And if you're interested in being a guest for Checkpoint, please visit my website, PsychSensei.com. Alright friends, as always, my name is Dr. Ryan Sproul, your Psych Sensei, checking out from Checkpoint. And remember friends, stronger mental wins.